Good morning, world. It is January. I can't remember what the date is. Okay, 26. Well, it's the new year. I've been trying to do I've been trying to do things differently, and um, since this is my first video, nobody knows what I'm talking about. But I've been trying to be a more positive person, a more um productive person. I mean, I'm naturally optimistic. I like to believe things that don't necessarily seem like they could happen can happen, but a lot of times I don't put in the action to back it up and make it happen. So that's what this year is about for me. Anyway, I've been thinking about positive and negative reinforcement. I think they are so underrated, really. Like people, I feel, have gotten to a point where they feel you don't have to do certain things because people should already know. And that's stupid. I think it really sucks because I think it's the same in relationships with a spouse, a child, down to when you get to work. Um, that negative and positive reinforcement is going to really structure your environment. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna be the reason why you either succeed or you fail. And how I feel about it is that there's kind of a double standard. Like with positive reinforcement, if a person is doing what another person feels that they should already know how to do, and what they're doing isn't all that extravagant, they don't get acknowledged for it, but they're just doing their job, you know. Um, on the other hand, when a person messes up, it's definitely noticed and it's definitely called out because its consequences are so evident and immediate in their negative, and nobody wants to deal with negative consequences. So, um, there's definitely a larger stress on acknowledging when something goes wrong, when something isn't right. And I just feel if people, you know, addressed, hey, I see you're really, you know, trying. I thank you because it really means a lot to me. I think when you don't acknowledge what when a person's doing right or when a person is doing what you ask them to, eventually they're gonna see, oh, it's really not that important. It's really just something that I could kind of let go of because it's it doesn't matter. It doesn't get that much attention. I should just, let it fall to the wayside. And that is so not true. I think people need to be praised for their, you know, when they do right, even if it's small. And that's the funny thing. We understand that when it comes down to babies. We understand that when it comes down to kids, because that's what happens when you have a baby and when you have a kid. When they do the small, simple things like match up certain colors or match up certain foods, and they haven't done that before, and you're like, yay, thank you, oh my gosh, you're so smart. And we feel that we don't still need that as we get older, but that's a lie. We really do. People want to be acknowledged for what they do, and that's why a lot of kids act up, I believe, you know, because they're not getting the positive reinforcement. They know that when they do wrong, they can definitely get negative, uh, get disciplined for when they do wrong. You see that kids acting up when they're not just addressed. When a child says, "Oh, look, mom, this," and the mom doesn't want to pay attention to them, then they go off and they have a temper tantrum. They start touching everything. They start misbehaving because the adult just wouldn't pay attention or wouldn't acknowledge them when it was just something simple. And so that's just my thoughts about it, because I I just really don't think a lot of people understand how much your attitude and your what you bring to the table um, affects everybody else. It affects everybody else's mood. It affects how quickly they move, how slow they move, whether or not your goals are accomplished because they don't want to do it for you. They don't feel that they should do it for you if they're not getting anything from you. They'll just see you as nothing. I'm just recording. I don't really know how to edit, so that might end up in this video. So, okay, that was my mommy. She's so sweet and caring. She wanted to know what was going on in here. Anyway, my dad is, I love my mom, and she's grown to it, to where she understands a little bit more about acknowledgement and, making people understand through that. But my dad is like the biggest advocate of it ever. Sometimes he overdoes it. I feel that you should never underdo positive or negative, um, you know, what is it called? Not reinforcement, but gratification, positive and negative stimulus. You should never do that. You should never overdo it, because if you overdo negative, people will just become numb to any stimulus that you have. And then if you do too much positive, then they'll just become numb to positive stimulus, and they'll feel that when you don't, well, they won't become numb to it. I feel that when they don't receive it, they're going to be like, whoa, why don't I get it? Well, I mean, you have to sort of let them be self-motivated as well as motivated by you. You can't just let them piggyback off of, oh, you did such a good job, yay, and they only do it for you. No, they have to kind of grow to a point to where it's for them as well. But my dad has always been an advocate of that. Ever since I was little, he would tell me when it's right. He will definitely tell you when it's wrong, and he'll even sit you down to talk about, okay, how can we do this differently? And at some point when you're little, even when you get grown to where you feel that you should no longer have to have these conversations, you will be like, oh my God, stop. But they're good to have, and I never really realized it until now. I'm trying to get to a certain point in my life where dealing with people is very important. It's about customer service. It's about being what another person needs, and being that positive uh, growth in their life. The person that moves them forward, and I really want to do good, but like I'm saying, it's one of the most underrated things, and a lot of people don't do it. So it is a battle when you yourself feel that things should be done a certain way and everybody else is doing it the other way, and you're like, what the, calm down, you know. Anyway, that's just my thoughts about it.